Hi, I'm Mike Matchett with Small World Big Data. I'm here today with Steve Powell from Igneous Systems, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rise of secondary storage, particularly scale out secondary storage, and why people are really turning to that now instead of looking at some other solutions, particularly in the backup space, or just worried about their primary storage and what to do next. So, hi, Steve, how's it going?
Awesome, Mike. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
So we were just talking a little bit. Could you tell us a little bit about what's happening between primary storage, say, what's the trend there, and then what you're doing with Igneous and secondary storage to back that up?
That's awesome. So, a lot of actually what we're seeing in primary storage is really what's happening with data overall, and that is that there is a growth of unstructured file data. It's bigger and it's growing faster. And what's happened is that's really changed what both the scope and what people are actually trying to go do with file on the primary side. Particularly as file densities have grown and as the file volume has grown, and that's created a whole new need on the secondary side, and that's where Igneous plays.
Awesome, awesome. So we got scale out on both sides, and you kind of want to align those things today. Uh, Primary being your performance storage, secondary being your capacity and protection storage layer. How does that fit in with cloud, though? People are talking about getting to hybrid cloud as well, and rolling both of those kinds of tiering, both of those into cloud.
Right, absolutely. Well, cloud is in many ways really the ultimate scale out platform. The real trick is how you have data where it needs to be. And so, for example, there are a lot of secondary storage applications like backup, where you want to be able to recover old versions very quickly. You might actually even have issues where you want to archive, where you want your users to have access to data that they don't frequently access, but not have to wait. And so, the way that I often like to think of cloud in this world is in two ways. One way is as an Iron Mountain replacement, where when you want to put stuff in deep freeze, things like Amazon Glacier, Microsoft Azure, blob storage, archive blob storage, those are key. In fact, just this last December, we were a launch partner with Microsoft Azure Archive Blob Storage. So we're one of the first vendors to actually support Microsoft Azure and their long-term storage option natively. So there's certainly that component. I think that there's the other component, which is that cloud becomes an interesting way to burst workloads. And so there's also use of cloud in the context of the ability to utilize that with the elastic compute that's available. So two different ways to view cloud.
Do cloud, great. And there's people with workloads all over the place. But if you've got a workload today that's a critical workload on your on premise or in the cloud, and you've got your primary storage, and people are doing scale up primary storage and all flash primary storage, they're not always getting the data protection that they think they have, even though they got a brand new type of flash array or a brand new type of scale out storage system, right? And their old backup, we already know backup's broken for legacy storage. It just possibly, the old way of doing backup just possibly can't work for this. And that's kind of where you guys play, right? You come in and you say you need to match your newfangled primary storage of whatever kind it is, whether it's scale out or all flash or whatever it is, with a really scale out what you called performance capacity storage. I thought that was clever on a secondary storage on the back end, right?
That's absolutely true. I mean, I think that high performance flash storage has a lot of potential. The challenge is that a lot of the enterprises that we work with have limited the deployment of this high performance flash storage to scratch workloads where the data doesn't need to be protected. And so one of the things that we found that's been very powerful by coupling high performance flash storage with Igneous is that we can actually offer that level of protection. So you can extend the use of flash to those workloads that actually need the protection. And so, very much like in the old world, how there was protection with technologies like SnapMirror and SnapVault on the NetApp side, or SyncIQ with Isilon. The principle is that a lot of these new high performance flash arrays, that don't have that analogous type of software in this high performance world now can get that really Igneous is very, very high performance, scale out secondary storage tier.
Yeah, people have been asking me lately, what's the hottest thing going on in storage? I tell them, actually, I think it's scale out secondary storage because it's really enabling everybody to use those technologies and those things that have been happening over on the primary space effectively on all their workloads. Otherwise, it's just a niche kind of technology thing. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
colder, not it's the warmer and colder thing happening,
yeah,
not the hot. The hot thing is happening on the flash tier.
right,
We're
right,
the warmer and the colder thing, which is big.
big thing. Well, thanks, Steve, for being here today. Thanks for updating us on this, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike.
All right, take care.